What's up, Vetters? Patrick here with Vetted. Today we're talking about this.
When we were with Dr. Italo, the neurosurgeon at Regional Hospital, that he just snuck us in the back gate, like, you know, with all cameras rolling and the audio guys and everything. And then he starts talking about, like, this is the bed, this is the ICU. I was like, holy, this guy's just going full Komodo. Like, he's just saying, the hell with it, whatever the consequences. This is what happened. I was here. I sat with it in this bed, right here in this room, for 3 to 4 minutes.
Dr. Italo Venturelli, the head neurosurgeon at Hospital Regional, was on duty in the ICU when he had the most extraordinary encounter of his life.
In this room or which room?
This room.
Right here.
Mas o vídeo que o senhor assistiu foi...
The alien was alive in this bed right here.
All right, Vetters, please hit that like button. That really helps out the videos. And of course, if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, y'all. All right, so what's today's video about? Well, it's about a brand new interview from James Fox that he did with Jesse Michels about the 1996 Varginha, Brazil UFO case, moment of contact, all of that, right? And he's got a brand new film coming out, basically moment of contact sort of, you know, extended version, a revamped version that's coming out in January. Actually, no, here in December, here in just a couple days. But the 30th anniversary is in January. So kind of all coincides together. But I will say, making this video, I got to give credit to some people on the internet because they were the ones to turn me on to this. But there's quite a huge red flag with the main new witness that James Fox is bringing forward in this documentary. And I hope I'm wrong here, but I don't know how to square all this away. You'll see as we get into this. Maybe there's reasonable explanations for all of this, but it's not looking good. And let me be clear, I love Moment of Contact. I love the Varginha case, but this part in particular that I'm going to break down for you is very interesting. Look, I worked really hard on this video and it took me a long time. I almost just gave up on it, to be honest with you, because I was just like, oh my God, this is taking forever. But we got a vet. So let's jump into this.
When we were with Dr. Italo, the neurosurgeon at Regional Hospital, that he just snuck us in the back gate, like, you know, with all cameras rolling and the audio guys and everything. And then he starts talking about, like, this is the bed, this is the ICU. I was like, holy shit, this guy's just going full Komodo. Like, he's just saying, the hell with it, whatever the consequences. This is what happened. I was here. I sat with it in this bed, right here in this room, for 3 to 4 minutes.
Menores do que a nossa, braço menor do que o nosso, o rosto menor do que o nosso. Uma criança de 7 anos, vamos dizer assim.
After several minutes of interaction with the being, in this exact ICU at Hospital Regional, Dr. Italo told us the military burst in and took the being, then threatened the hospital staff to remain silent.
Ask him how it feels to be sharing this information after 29 years.
E como é que o senhor se sente de estar dividindo essa informação agora depois de... Feels like crying.
Excuse me. Que é um ser sobrinho, né? É diferente de nós. Não tem maldade. Não vi maldade nenhuma ali.
All right, so Patrick, what's the issue here? What you know, this new neurosurgeon is coming forward and saying that he was in the room with this alien while it was being operated on by a friend of his, right? He saw the being, he telepathically communicated with the being, and he was physically present with the being, right? What's the issue? This is great. Brand new witness coming forward. Well, there is an issue. Because in the very first interview he gave back in 2023, he said something completely different. And when I say different, I mean different. Take a listen.
Doutor, eu gostaria que o senhor comentasse, voltasse naquele dia 20 de janeiro de 96, aqueles meados de janeiro de 96, sobre a questão, né, da aparição do extraterrestre aqui na cidade de Varginha. A gente teve confirmações, só um minutinho que ele saiu aqui da posição, aí. A gente teve confirmações por parte de militares e de testemunhas até da área médica que a criatura teria passado pelo hospital regional. Eu gostaria que o senhor comentasse.
Pois não. Bom, naquele dia, eu havia operado uma criança que tinha síndrome de Crouzon. Era um pouquinho disforme, né? Tive que colocar uma válvula também. Meu consultório é aqui perto. Eu saí do consultório umas 3, 4 horas da tarde e vim ver a criança, que eu havia operado, como é que ela estava no CTI. Quando eu cheguei, realmente no estacionamento do hospital tinha os caminhões do exército, tinha muita gente, quase que não conseguia entrar. Entrei por ser muito conhecido aqui, né? E uma repórter veio me perguntar se eu tinha operado o ET. Eu não sabia do que ela estava conversando. Nessa época não tinha WhatsApp, não tinha tanta rede social, eu não sabia ao que ela se referia. Mas eu imaginei que ela estava falando da criança. Porque a criança realmente tinha Crouzon. Quem sabe o que é Crouzon, né? Depois você coloca. Eu precisei acertar várias coisas no crânio dele, né? Eu achei que ela estava falando da criança. Eu até me ofendi. Eu falei assim, isso é jeito que se fala de um ser? Eu estava falando da criança e ela estava falando da criatura, do ET. E falei, isso não é uma maneira de se dirigir. E entrei, e isso já causou. Eu estava dizendo um sim para ela, porque ela também não sabia que eu tinha operado a criança, né? Certo? Quando eu entrei, eu conversei com um outro colega que não está mais entre a gente e tal, que me disse, eu não vi, mas ele me disse que tinha feito colocado uma válvula, um ser diferente e tal, o que eu achava. E me mostrou um vídeo, mas eu não tenho esse vídeo, né? A partir daí, uma movimentação muito grande na cidade, mas nem tudo a gente podia falar na época, né? E como eu reafirmo, eu não vi. Eu ouvi o relato de um colega, né?
O senhor poderia falar o nome desse colega e se o senhor, como que foi no momento que ele teria mostrado para o senhor?
Sim, esse colega já faleceu, né? Quando eu entrei, ele era bem mais novo que eu. Sempre quando tinha um caso, alguma dificuldade e tudo, me chamava os outros colegas. Para a gente, assim, confirmar ou dar alguma opinião sobre o que ele tinha feito, né? Ele era bem mais jovem que a gente, né? E ele me disse o que tinha feito e me mostrou um vídeo, né? E parecia tudo certo. Um vídeo, esse ser era os olhos mais avermelhados, né? E tinha umas pessoas em volta, eu vi ele se mexendo. Mas é isso que eu vi, né?
Ele disse para o senhor que ele colocou uma válvula na criatura?
Sim. Foi o que ele me disse, né?
Ele detalhou mais algum outro procedimento que tivesse...
Não, ele só falou que você estava confuso, eu até assustei, porque, como eu estou dizendo, não tinha rede social, eu não sabia do que estávamos falando. Eu fui acudir como se eu estivesse vendo um outro paciente, né? E ele falou, pois é, estava assim, mostrou o vídeo, né? O pessoal vestido de jaleco, alguns de coisa cirúrgica, né? Eu coloquei uma válvula, porque estava assim, 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 né? O que você acha? Acho que está bem, né? Está tudo certo, né? Mas eu não vi o ser, né?
Wait a second, did he just say he saw a video of it? He never saw the being himself? This is just what a colleague showed him? Don't worry, there's more to get into. And you may be thinking, well, maybe there's some confusion here on the translation. You know, not really. Take a look at the title of the video. The video I saw, that's what it's called, right? And this was filmed in April of 2023. So, you know what I mean? Almost 2.5 years ago. And then you may be thinking, well, maybe he just said this the one time, you know, he's confused. No, he's not.
É que essa área médica é uma área difícil da gente falar as coisas sem ter muita confirmação, sem ter trabalho científico, né? Nós somos profissionais assim muito acreditados pelas pessoas. Então, quando você fala uma coisa, você tem que provar. Então, poucas pessoas falam sobre isso. Eu mesmo quando falo, eu digo, eu não vi o ser, eu ouvi o relato.
Again, he never saw the being. He saw a video of it, as we're going to jump in even further. And then you may be thinking, well, maybe James Fox doesn't know about this. Well, take a look at who helped produce this video. Yeah, James Fox Productions, right? Because the two guys who went and interviewed this gentleman helped James Fox with Moment of Contact. And he shouts them out, and I've got another video to show you at the end to help explain that even further. But so he clearly knew about this doctor and his initial story. And look at the difference in his emotion, right? The way he speaks in this video as opposed to how he spoke in that clip that you saw from Jesse Michels' video from the new James Fox documentary, where he's literally crying about this, right? And it doesn't stop there. Remember when he's like, showing this is the bed, this is where it happened. Remember this clip?
Dr. Italo Venturelli, the head neurosurgeon at Hospital Regional, was on duty in the ICU when he had the most extraordinary encounter of his life.
In this room or which room?
This room.
Right here.
Mas o vídeo que o senhor assistiu da cirurgia foi...
The alien was alive in this bed right here.
Deitado aqui.
So he saw the
Coberto
creature
aqui.
right
Saw
here.
the creature right there.
Coberto
Creature was right there.
While he was
Coberto
watching
até
the
aqui, ó.
video of the surgery.
Coberto até aqui. His eyes, they were like a teardrops, red, much redder, especially right here, and he was, partially covered. He was right here, but he was still alive.
He looked in the eyes of the creature.
Yes.
In this bed.
In this bed.
And what did the creature say to you? What?
I saw the red eyes. His face was white, his eyes were red, and he wasn't showing any suffering at all now.
If there was perhaps a possible telepathic communication?
Yes, right there, you see? As if to say, something like, I'm perfectly fine, I've been well looked after.
He said, yes, for sure, a communication as someone would say, yes, I am okay, I've received care. That's what he felt from the expression of the being.
Fala sem falar.
To speak without speaking. It spoke without speaking.
According to Dr. Italo, a being underwent a procedure by his colleague, fellow neurosurgeon Dr. Marcos Vinicio Neves, who died in 2018 of a heart attack.
So there he is in the spot saying, this is the bed he was on, this is where he was at, right here, all of this. And then in this 2023 interview, he says this.
Ali, depois ele sempre mostrava as pessoas que iam na casa dele, né? Ele mostrava o vídeo, né? Para nós, né? Sob cheiro, não. Aqui na cidade, depois tem vários relatos interligados com isso, de algumas pessoas que viram e inclusive algumas pessoas que adoeceram por causa disso, né?
Certo. Nesse vídeo que o senhor viu, estava só a criatura? Eles estavam fazendo, naquele momento do vídeo, algum procedimento nela?
Não, estavam ao lado da pessoa, né? Do ser, né? Eles estavam ao lado dele. 2 pessoas de jaleco aqui, 2 pessoas de traje cirúrgico, né? Ao lado dele, né? Mas não havia, eu não vi militares, não vi nada, não vi. Pessoal de centro cirúrgico mesmo, né?
O local em que essa criatura aparece no vídeo, você acredita que é um centro cirúrgico, mas não conseguiu identificar...
Eu nem acho que é um centro cirúrgico, eu acho que é uma maca de necrotério. Certo. Aquelas macas prateadas. Porque não estava com campo cirúrgico, não estava com nada. Parecia uma maca mais de um necrotério, né?
Mas o local onde aparece a criatura no vídeo, o senhor não conseguiu identificar como sendo algum local aqui de Varginha?
Não, isso eu não consegui ver, porque estava a câmera fechada, né? Certo. Eu vi aqui aquela maca, ele era menor do que a largura da maca, estava aqui e a maca ainda era mais larga, né? E um pedaço com um lençol branco, né?
Certo. Quando o doutor mostrava esse vídeo para vocês, para o senhor, ele pegava uma fita VHS, era em qual mídia?
Estava no computador dele. Estava salvo no computador dele. Ele mostrava para várias pessoas devem ter visto esse vídeo, né?
So he doesn't even know where this was, right? Even according to the video that he saw, he couldn't really see anything. And he's saying that this guy that showed to him, this doctor friend of his, who they don't mention in the 2023 video, but they absolutely mention who it is now because he's since passed away. But he has no idea where this was. He doesn't even know if it was in his own hospital, let alone in Varginha, Brazil. And to be fair, the people that went and filmed him and interviewed him, the two guys that helped James Fox with Moment of Contact and with this video, they were also suspicious about him. Check out the very end of the video where they mention this.
Não, o que você achou? Interessante, hein? Não foi esse filme que eu vi, não. O que eu vi estava coberto, tinha um lençol, né? E ele estava numa posição inversa dessa daí.
So they weren't even sure he had actually seen a video. They thought he might have seen this Roswell video that circulated in the 90s that came out as a hoax. It was fake, right? And they thought maybe he was just describing that this guy was showing that because it's literally 1 year apart, right? 1995, that video comes out, and then 1996, the Varginha, Brazil incident happens, right? And again, as he's going to explain further, he just saw a video of it, and it wasn't even that long of a video. But let's move on.
So this is, you have a neurosurgeon who's, again, extremely credentialed.
Everything to lose, nothing to gain.
Had some health scares and giving you this testimony, and he freaks out because he's going to lose his job. He ends up giving you the testimony in the cafe. His good friend had done surgery on the being.
A procedure. Marcos Vinicius.
Marcos Vinicius. Did he say anything about that surgery? Because what is surgery like on an alien being?
So apparently it was, and I'm not qualified to do, I'm not a neurosurgeon, but from what I understand is that there was swelling from head trauma and that he had released the pressure by putting, I guess they do a little hole or something like that where it releases the pressure. It was something like that. It was a procedure to release the from a head trauma.
See,
but
that
I would imagine it was maybe something to do with the accident. I don't know.
But that is that sort of satisfies. Like if I were to throw any sort of skepticism at this, it would be, how are you dealing with alien organs? Like, what do you don't really know what to do. Yeah. But if it's just like a head pressure, release or something, that makes some sense to me.
I mean, if you remember, he says that they put a valve in it. He doesn't say where though, the head, the body. That would have been interesting to find out, right? Now he is a neurosurgeon and he's helping, his friend. So maybe he's a neurosurgeon too and it did go in the head, but do you put valves in heads? I don't know, right? This is so interesting. And how do you know that that's actually going to work on an alien? Regardless, okay? Why did this guy change his story? Dramatically, right? I mean, a dramatic change of not just his story, but his emotion and the way he tells it, right? So interesting.
Esse vídeo que o senhor viu mostrado pelo Dr. O senhor conseguiu identificar militares do exército também?
Não. Eu vi só uma maca com um ser mais esbranquiçados. Eu não sei se isso é montagem ou se era, mas estava na hora ali, né? Dificilmente foi uma montagem, estava na hora ali, né? Umas pessoas de jaleco, umas pessoas com roupa de centro cirúrgico, mas eu não sei a origem desse vídeo, né? Mas não via militares, não. Via algumas pessoas, umas 4, 5 pessoas em volta.
Doutor, as características físicas que o senhor lembra quando o senhor viu o vídeo desse ser, dessa criatura, o senhor poderia comentar as características físicas, o máximo de lembrança que o senhor tem do vídeo? E se o senhor ficou horrorizado, assim, na hora?
A parte de baixo estava coberta com lençol, né? Eu vi a parte de cima, um tórax fino, a cabeça maior, mas a cabeça não da nossa forma, mas a cabeça mais angulada, né? como tem no site de vocês, mais angulado, né? Com 3 pequenas protuberâncias, né? Os olhos mais avermelhados e grandes, né? Praticamente sem pescoço, né?
E os braços, assim, que estavam...
Muito finos. Muito finos, e ele movimentou, sim. Movimentou o tronco e movimentou... Isso no vídeo, né? Movimentou braços muito finos e dedos bem finos.
So he is describing sort of the same being that he then does describe to James Fox, even though the skin is white compared to brown or reddish as the other ones. But, you know, and as you'll see later, even the horns on the head, he said, were really, really small. We'll get to that in a moment. But, I mean, again, his story is so dramatically different just from, you know, a couple years ago.
I wish like hell Marcos Venices hadn't died for so many reasons.
I mean, interviewing a guy who's done surgery on an alien being would be...
I know, it's really frustrating. However, we have not given up. Like I said, by the time your audience watches this, I've already been back, and we have a huge meeting with all the doctors, as many as we can get.
Yeah, apparently the doctor that performed the surgery and had the video that he showed to this neurosurgeon, right, passed away. And they didn't call out his name before, but now they're just calling out his name, going for it, which is interesting. Why the change there as well? But James is right. He did get all of these doctors in a room together, and he released a video on X. Here it is.
Question. I'd like to ask Giannini how long Giannini has known Italo.
Faz quanto tempo que o senhor conhece o Ítalo?
Desde que ele chegou em Varginha.
Ainda usava fralda.
Okay. So a long time. Safe to say a long time.
48 anos.
48 years.
48 years.
Você chegou menos.
Dr. Armando, how long have you known?
35 anos.
35 years.
35 years. How long have you known Italo?
35 também.
About 35 years too.
35 years. So, doctors, when he says he saw the creature in captivity at Regional Hospital, do you guys believe him?
Então, quando o Dr. Ítalo fala que ele viu a criatura em cativeiro, né, no CTI, vocês acreditam no que ele fala?
Com certeza. Deixa eu dar uma pergunta. Doutor Cesário... Tem credibilidade para isso. Doutor Cesário e doutor Ítalo, já viram infecção bacteriana comum correr dessa maneira em 7 dias?
Dr. Italo.
And apparently there's more to that video, but I want to know why they don't ask him why didn't he change his story, and why is that brought up in Jesse Michels' video? I didn't hear any mention of that, and maybe Jesse just doesn't know about it, I'm sure, because why wouldn't you ask that? Hey, why didn't this guy change the story? Why wouldn't James just come out with that, right? Because you would figure people are going to find out about this, or maybe he was hoping people didn't. I don't know. That seems weird. I don't think so. And maybe it's addressed in the film, but he's doing a lot of press, and I haven't heard him bring this up at all, one bit. So the doctor said this before, but now he's saying this, you know, and this is why. That would clear it up, right? But there's no mention of it. It's like, don't bring that up. That makes it even more suspicious and kind of a huge red flag, if you ask me. But let's move on.
If this were a court case, you would have an overwhelming amount of evidence that something happened. Whatever the thing is that you're trying to prove in court, this would be far beyond the threshold of evidence that you would need.
I think we could sway any jury.
I think you could sway any jury. And so the Venturelli thing's just fascinating. You end up in a cafe with him.
Yeah.
He gets very emotional. He starts crying because clearly he's held this in for
29 years.
29 years. And
could you imagine the weight of that on your shoulders?
No, I can't.
And you're watching all this speculation, you're watching all this conjecture, all this media coverage, the debunking going on from the military, like, excuse me, the witnesses, you know, adamantly saying, you know, this is what I saw, particularly the 3 girls, you know, and then knowing that you sat in the hospital room, in the ICU, with a live captured alien and had direct telepathic communication.
Face to face.
Face to face, man.
Eye to eye.
It doesn't get any more incredible than that.
I don't really think this would do that well in a court case, to be honest with you. You know? I mean, how would you explain him changing his account? If you had your main witness completely change his testimony, that would hurt the court case. Again, listen to the good doctor in 2023.
Os médicos que examinaram essa criatura descartam qualquer possibilidade dela ser uma pessoa com deformidades, com anomalias.
Sim, sim. Subjetivamente, a ética médica é muito forte, né? Todos nós temos que tomar muito cuidado com propaganda, com o que a gente fala, com o que a gente escreve, com o que a gente publica, né? Então, para fazer isso, você tem que ter comprovações, tudo, e eu não tenho, né? Não tinha, né? Eu tinha só o relato do colega, né?
Yeah, you need proof, right? And he's so calm and calculated here, like in a good way. Like he seems very rational in this interview in 2023. He seems just very level-headed, rational, talking about this. Like, I believe that this doctor showed him a video. This is actually the story that sounds the most believable to me, is that this doctor showed him this video, right? Again, he keeps saying it's his colleague's account, not his.
He said, you look into the eyes of this creature, and despite the fact that it was in captivity, it had control of the whole room.
Usually the person experiencing the thing is kind of discreditable. Often they live in, somewhere in the woods or something. The interaction occurs in some remote place, and it's just this kind of inherently ephemeral thing where you have to take their word for it. I would actually say those people are sort of more trustworthy in some ways than often people who are kind of insidery types or whatever. But in this case, you have a person whose credentials are unimpeachable. He runs a chain of hospitals. People are their lives are on the line.
Works on people's brains.
Works on people's brains. He's a neurosurgeon. He's a concert pianist. And, clearly all of the incentives go in the direction of him not revealing any of this stuff. And because he's had a couple of life-threatening illnesses and scares, he comes out and speaks to you.
Okay, so that's interesting. He's had a couple of life-threatening scares and illnesses, and that's horrific, right? My heart goes out to him and his family. But why are they not addressing why he changed his story so dramatically? He went from, I saw a video, right? Not even a good one, right? Barely any time on this, right? Barely any time, right? And then the colleagues showing the video all over the place. But there's no mention of why he's changing his story now. They're just making it seem like he's just now coming out. And that's not true. Again, James Fox and the two Brazilian UFO researchers that helped him put out this interview. They're the ones that did the original interview. So it's not like he doesn't know or they don't know. I don't know. I'm so confused by this.
No vídeo, o senhor poderia detalhar, assim, o senhor viu detalhes assim de boca, nariz, como é que era?
O tronco muito fino, o rosto tipo de uma gota, os olhos mais avermelhados, é o que eu me lembro.
O senhor lembra do número de dedos na mão?
Não recordo. Não cheguei a ver. Vi que estava movimentando, né?
E ele estava com esse ser, quando o senhor viu, ele estava com uma expressão de sofrimento, como que estava?
Não, normal. Não estava com faces a gente fala faces, né? Não estava com faces de sofrimento, não. E como eu digo, é um vídeo que você vê e acabou, né?
O senhor lembra quanto tempo mais ou menos de vídeo?
Uns 15, 20 segundos, né?
Yeah, it's 15, 20 seconds long. It's nothing. Just a quick little clip of a video, and that's what he's basing all of this off of. And it went from that, seeing a 15, 20 second video, to, and not even knowing where this was video, nothing. He didn't know anything. He didn't say anything at the hospital, none of that. There was some action at the hospital, right? There was stuff happening, so there was definitely something happening there, but he never saw anything. He went from that to, I was in the room with the being for minutes. I saw it with my own eyes. I locked eyes with it. It had control of the room. It telepathically communicated with me. I mean, it jumped. It went from, 10 miles an hour to 200 miles an hour here. We completely jump stepped. And again, that wouldn't be an issue if there's a reasonable explanation for it, but it's never addressed. I'm hoping it'll be in the film, or at least James mentioned it in an interview or something. Why is nobody talking about this? This is a huge discrepancy and a red flag that absolutely needs to be addressed. I love the Varginha case, right? This is disappointing to me, to be honest with you. It is like, talk about bursting my bubble. I'm just like, whoa, wait a sec. Because again, when something like this happens and it's not addressed, then you start wondering what else isn't lining up in this story.
What does he say about his interaction with the being?
The being was very calm, and it had sort of acquiesced to being in captivity, and it was very calm, and that it was okay, that it wasn't suffering, it wasn't in pain. And he said when he looked into the eyes of it, it read his mind, like it could just read all of his thoughts. He's like, it was an advanced intelligence. And I kept saying, like, what do you mean by that? He goes, there's nothing here on earth like it. He called it like an angel, that it was compassionate, caring, like an advanced intelligence. And I said, explain that. He goes, way more advanced than anything on earth, way more advanced than myself, just way beyond. And that and he said that one of the last things he said was, there's so much to learn from the eyes of that being.
Nós temos muito que aprender naquele olhar.
We have so much to learn in the eyes of this being.
Just looking into the eyes.
Again, he's adding so much to this story now, right? So much. And look, they actually show him an illustration of this famous picture that goes around that everyone uses to describe this being. That this is an illustration that's used. And he says it kind of looks like it, but it is different, right? It's just, this is so strange.
Foi feito algumas ilustrações baseadas nas pessoas que viram essa criatura.
Seria uma das melhores concepções artísticas.
Esses chifres eram bem menores.
Menores, né?
E o rosto mais, quase que como que o do site de vocês. Muito mais uma gota. Certo. Não era tanto assim. Era igual aquele, igual tem no seu WhatsApp. Mais parecido com aquilo.
E a cor, assim, o pessoal comenta também que parece que na época tinha umas veias um pouco saltadas, um óleo e parece que era de cor marrom.
Isso eu não vi. Ele estava esbranquiçado. Eu não sei se já tinham passado algum produto nele, alguma coisa, né?
O que poderia ter sido passado nele que daria essa coloração?
Não, alguma vaselina, alguma coisa, né? Certo. Não sei, mas eu não cheguei a ver a inervação toda dele. Não cheguei a ver, não. Não sei se eu estou ajudando muito, mas estou sendo muito sincero, tá? Quando eu vi, não vi.
So again, all of his statements in this about 23-minute video, okay, interview in 2023, is all based on a 15 to 20-second clip and barely what he saw. Again, he couldn't even tell where it was, let alone if he was even in the hospital he was in. He couldn't see below the waist, right? They put a valve. I mean, he couldn't see anything. He could see 3 or 4 people, 4 or 5 or whatever, and surgical stuff. It looked like it was on a morgue sort of stretcher as opposed to a surgical center stretcher, or however you put it. I mean, he knows the equipment in his hospital, right? It doesn't sound like he recognized the room, anything, right? I mean, he talks more about it that I didn't include in this video. Like, he couldn't describe the room or anything. Like, it didn't look like anything he had seen. I mean, again, he in that one video, he's like on the bed. This is where it was, on this bed right here. This is where the being was. Wait, what? Now you know the room. Like, what is going on? This doesn't make any sense at all. And we're not done.
O senhor teria informação da pessoa que teria esse vídeo, se ele permanece aqui em Varginha ainda?
Esse vídeo quem mostrava a esposa dele, pode ser que tenha, porque estava no computador dele, né? Ele faleceu há alguns anos, só assim foi formatado tudo, que era o computador da casa dele.
So he thinks the wife has the video, right? And James Fox already revealed in the Jesse Michels interview that he's talked to the wife. He's talked to the mistress. Apparently this doctor had a mistress and had a kid with that mistress. He's talked to the daughter as well, the everybody. Apparently they have the video. At least that's what this doctor is saying in 2023. And that they were showing this video all around to everybody, right? To all kinds of people. What? And look at what they say the very, very end of the 2023 interview. So those two guys that were in the image, those are the two guys that interviewed the good doctor, right? And those two guys worked at Moment of Contact. And remember those two faces because there's more about them. But they're basically saying that they have the hard disk, right? They just need to see if they can find the video on the hard disk because that's what the doctor's saying. It's probably on that hard disk. So the wife gave it up. Right? They were able to get it. What is going on? Now, there may be another reason why this doctor has come forward. I'm not entirely sure. Aside from the life-threatening issues that he may have had, he seems to have recovered. All right, remember those two guys from the image, right? That I said, remember those guys? Well, they did an interview on a Brazilian YouTube channel, okay, about 5 or 6 days after that interview with the doctor. And James Fox called in, and James Fox said, hey, I'll give $200,000 to anyone that comes forward with this video and presents it right. There's more to it, which we're going to get into. But that's interesting because let's break down this video. There is way more things in here that are super interesting.
I'm here to make a statement about the evidence of what we are willing to come up with in our pursuit. What we were willing to offer you, the public, who might be in possession of videotaped evidence. So I'm making a couple of offers here. One, you come forward anonymously. You get $100,000 US.
Oh my God.
And the person who comes up with it, who finds it, gets $20,000 as just a finder's fee. Okay?
Okay.
That's one.
Okay, so first he's offering $100,000 if you want to stay anonymous, right? And come forward with this video and a finder's fee. He's putting out a lot of money to try to get this video. And hey, respect. This is a lot of money we're talking about, right? But there's more.
If the person who has possession of the videotaped evidence
Se a pessoa que tem... Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Wants to come forward themselves presenting the provenance of said evidence, of the evidence, $200,000 US.
Like, I didn't understand as well. Like,
so the person who has the video, if they come forward, they present the videotape and they talk about the evidence.
Okay.
Not anonymous.
All right.
Not anonymous.
All right. Ele falou
$200,000 US.
Yeah. So if you come out and show your name and your face, right, that's $200,000 for the video and a finder's fee, of course. And then what I don't show is he also offered like $50,000 if you got a photo, right? And then you may be wondering, why are these guys going on this particular show? Right? Because I've seen this clip before, but I dug in further, and that's what took me so long on this video. There's so much more in this interview that I didn't know before, right? Because there's a reason that James Fox called into this particular show. And the two guys that are there as researchers, right, they don't run that show. They're guests on that show, the two producers that work with James Fox, who did the interview in 2023 as well. Again, this is about 5 or 6 days after that interview.
Yeah, go ahead.
What I would need is 1 or 2 seconds of the video as proof that they have it.
Yeah, ele falou que precisaria de alguns segundos
claro,
ali.
A prova, 2 ou 3 segundos para provar que o vídeo é real.
Exato.
Perfeito, perfect.
The next day, I'm on a private plane to Brazil.
Okay, so he's saying he just needs a couple seconds of it to prove it's real. This is strange, right? This is super strange. And then he's on a private jet, which, hey, all more power to you. Private jet, that sounds great. I've never been on one. But that does that really prove it's real? I don't know. I guess that gets you down there, right? And then you could see it. And James wants to acquire it and get the rights to the video, right? To be able to show it. And there's something very interesting about the amount of money that he offered, which we'll get to in a second. But what does James plan on doing with the video if he gets it? Again, this was 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
So what you gonna do when you have this evidence? Just to tell the public, like to show the world?
We'll probably go to the New York Times.
E aí ele vai pro New York Times, né? Yes. And show the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's going to take it to the New York Times. Okay, that's a good plan. He's also going to put it in the documentary, and that was always the whole goal. The end of Moment of Contact ends with that sort of revelation that there is this video out there and that may be getting this video, right? And it sounds like he still hasn't been able to get it. But what he did get was a guy who saw the video who's now changed his mind and said, I was there, right? Because getting a guy who says he saw the video just isn't enough, especially if you don't have the video. It's like, did they convince this guy to say, no, say you were there with the being? Again, why is he changing his story and why aren't they acknowledging that? It's so strange if you ask me. And look, the amount of money that James Fox is offering there in Brazil is a massive amount. Yes, that's a lot in US dollars, but it's even more in Brazil.
Estamos falando de R$1 milhão. O Silvio Santos deu isso uma vez no show do milhão. O Paranormal já tá oferecendo R$1 milhão em 13 anos lá daquela porcaria lá daquele programa.
I just think that's going to bring people out of the woodworks, and it probably did, right? I mean, what's very interesting is one guy on the show that you see there in the blue shirt. You're about to learn more about that guy that's very interesting and probably the whole reason James Fox called in to that particular show and why his two producers went on that particular Brazilian YouTube channel. Just did a huge podcast all across Brazil and announced a $200K reward for the footage of the Varginha being. The gentleman on the right has seen it. He says the being was alive, but very feeble. Let's go. All right, so that tweet was put out, again, the day he does the interview, right? And that guy on the right, he's on the show. He's one of the hosts of the show, and he has seen the video or a video, because that is part of the problem. I watched this interview, and they talk about there's this whole sort of underground black market where people have been purporting stuff and selling stuff about the Varginha case for a long time. They're selling books, x-rays, photos, all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of videos floating around. And he's already seen one of the videos, which he describes.
Bom, eu vi lá o vídeo do bicho, beleza, tudo certo. Qual que é o problema lógico pra mim, né? É que a criatura que eu vi ali, aquele 1 minuto de vídeo, não é uma prova, apesar do vídeo para mim parecer absolutamente real, não é um boneco, não é computação gráfica, nada disso, não é uma prova contundente de vida alienígena. Olhando o vídeo lá, o tempo que eu olhei, tá, se eu tivesse visto o vídeo inteiro, talvez eu até ia falar, não, tá bom, é alienígena. Mas assim, olhando ali, não dá para afirmar que é um ser que veio numa nave de outro planeta. Eu tô dando a minha versão, né? E aí eu acho que só tem como fazer isso de duas formas, na minha opinião. Ou é se comunicando com o ser, e aí ele usando, sei lá, telepatia, igual você comentou, e falando que ele vim de um outro sistema solar, por exemplo, né? Através de telepatia, seja lá desenhos e tal, né? Ou abrindo ele e olhando o DNA, o material genético ali, os órgãos, então de repente você abre lá e vê que não tem nenhum órgão conhecido pela ciência, você vai falar, putz, como é que ele respira? Ah, é um sistema híbrido de, sei lá, coração com pulmão e com clorofila, sei lá, que você comentou e tal, não sei o quê. Então, qual que é o ponto que eu quero chegar? Eu vendo a criatura, pelo vídeo não dá para afirmar, falar, olha, isso aqui prova a visita de ser extraterrestre na Terra. Eu queria saber se alguma testemunha de vocês com mais conhecimento técnico científico afirmou que o ser se tratava de uma entidade extraterrestre. Falou, o que eu vi na minha frente, o que eu olhei, o tecido, o cheiro, a forma, não é uma criatura que veio do planeta Terra, veio de fora. É essa, eu quero chegar nisso.
É bom, e a questão é complexa, né? Se a gente conseguisse um vídeo ou uma foto, é claro que seria sensacional, espetacular, né? Para ufologia, para todo mundo, né? Mas, claro, não é uma prova científica, né? Obviamente.
And he makes a good point. Even if you get the video, that's not even proof, right? And they don't want to show the video on their channel, right? Because they talk about legality and this and that, and they're like, well, James Fox can handle that, right? Because apparently what happened on this show is that a guy called in and said he had the video, the one host watched it, and described something totally different than what the doctor saw. So strange. So very strange.
E eu quero deixar um recado aqui bem claro, como que a gente pode denominar o rapaz que falou, o Dr. X, nós vamos no nome, não vamos falar o nome do cara que tinha o vídeo, né? Dr. X. Então, olha aqui, ó, câmera única, por favor, ó, Dr. X, você que tem o vídeo, você tá assistindo isso e eu vou falar uma coisa incrível agora para essas mais de 2.600 pessoas que estão aqui no começo do podcast, só vai crescer. O James Fox ligou pra gente e ele está assistindo o Paranormal Experience agora. E ele está interessado em ver o vídeo que você, querido cidadão aí de Minas Gerais, tem posse desse vídeo da criatura. Ele quer este vídeo. Então eu vou repetir novamente para que não fique nenhuma dúvida, com palavras bem claras. O diretor de cinema internacional James Fox está assistindo agora o Paranormal Experience e está interessado no seu vídeo. Entre em contato conosco. Você já tem o jeito de entrar em contato conosco, entre novamente.
Sim, mas tem que deixar mais claro ainda. Ele não quer simplesmente ver, ele quer adquirir. Então é um processo de compra.
Exatamente.
Tá? Porque toda a treta que deu com a gente, na verdade, com o Paranormal, o que é? Todo mundo que entra em contato acha que vai enriquecer. Acha que vai ganhar muito dinheiro e vai enriquecer. É o que eu sempre falei e vou reiterar aqui, tá? Brasileiro nenhum, presta atenção, você que tá aí, você que tem a dono da fita. Eu já te falei isso. Canal oficial brasileiro nenhum vai pagar o dinheiro que você quer pela fita. O único jeito é alguém de fora comprar, um gringo comprar, tá? Por quê? Porque o material, ele é de origem ilícita do exército. Então nós, aqui do Paranormal, a gente não é trouxa de gastar um dinheiro para comprar a fita e depois ainda ter risco do nosso canal cair e ser penalizado.
So this guy they're calling Dr. X, and they know his name, has the video, right? But I thought it was the wife on the hard drive, you know. I think there's more than one video. That's the issue, right? Amongst other things. This is just becoming so convoluted and confusing. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Am I confused by this? Am I right? Isn't this just doesn't make sense? I just want answers. I just want to know why this guy has changed his story. There could be a good reason, right? I think the first one that comes to mind is out of fear. But if that's the case, then why come out at all, right? Why would you come out with one little story and then not, right? I'm utterly confused. All right, so I'm inserting this part right here after the fact. While I was editing this video, it kind of hit me, right? It kind of hit me. I was left so confused, as I just said, and then it hit me.
Claro, como que a gente pode denominar o rapaz que falou, o Dr. X, nós vamos no nome, não vamos falar o nome do cara que tinha o vídeo, né? Dr. X.
I think this new neurosurgeon who just came out is Dr. X. He's the guy that called this show Paranormal Experience, shared the video that co-host saw. That's what I think. I think that's literally what happened.
de uma ligação que a gente recebeu aqui, que foi algo absolutamente inesperada, não é? Que foi o teu corte que deu mais polêmica, foi você viu o vídeo do ET de Varginha, do suposto ET de Varginha, ou de uma das criaturas. Você fez uma descrição incrível. Foi um corte que viralizou, você ganhou haters, ganhou fãs, todo mundo passava na rua, Terminator, não sei o que, toda aquela história que a gente já sabe. Muito bem, aí eu passo a bola pra você agora. O telefone tocou, o paranormal fone tocou. É a primeira vez que isso acontece.
He's the guy, because even the town he's from is the exact same.
O James Fox ligou pra gente e ele está assistindo o Paranormal Experience agora. E ele está interessado em ver o vídeo que você, querido cidadão aí de Minas Gerais, tem posse desse vídeo da criatura.
I don't know. I'm just saying. This is very strange. It's just a theory, but I think this new neurosurgeon is Dr. X. Now you may be asking, what does that mean? I don't fucking know. But this is all strange as hell. All right, vetters, we'll see you guys on the next one. Happy holidays to everyone. I am going to take a couple of days off, but when I come back, I've got a bombshell video about the Nazca mummies that I'm going to be putting out. I've been working on it for months and working really hard these extra last few days to get this finalized to be able to put out. So I may be able to put it out for Christmas, but I don't think so. It's probably going to be a couple days after Christmas, but before the new year. What I uncovered and discovered about the Nazca mummies changes the entire trajectory, and it changes the whole story. It changes the whole landscape, and it's something that no one is talking about, and I can't understand why. Every day's a gift, y'all. Peace!
My question is, has anybody ever looked at STS-46 July 1991 Space Shuttle launch and the object that is in the background while the background in the sky while the Space Shuttle was launching? And has anybody figured out why this video has not made any kind of story in the UFO world, but STS-48, STS-76, when they were in orbit, the same object, similar object, approached the shuttle while they were in orbit. Two missions that were talked about in the UFO community decades ago, but not that could be easily dismissed as space debris, and not as anything other than that. Whereas not the same type of a mission involving tethered satellites when the space shuttle was before it had even reached orbit, when it was still launching. Same object in the sky, can't be dismissed as space debris. So if you can look at maybe look at that and analyze it, STS-46 and its relationship to the STS-48, STS-76. Thanks.